your money right. There's a couple phases of this, but initially, if you are a brand new loan consultant, or if you're an LC out there who's brand new or relatively new, less than 6 months probably on the floor, or maybe a CCS who's training to take their exam, or one of the 40 folks we have in class right now, this is for you. Figure out what you're going to do with your money ahead of time. And now I'm not like saying this to just like throw money at you, and it's not all about greed and be, make all the money. Oh, money! Like, it just is a byproduct of doing our job well in an era of abundance like we have right now. I can't guarantee that this is going to continue for 6 months. I can't guarantee this is going to continue for another month. But what I can say is right now our pipelines are pretty freaking stacked. And I don't care, like, we just keep shoving them in there, and we are at capacity, and we are closing record numbers of loans. Record numbers. So there's something that comes along with that, and that's fairly decent paychecks. More than decent paychecks. And I've been around long enough, 16 years, to realize that they don't always come. Now, the good people can get consistent, but just fat stacks, that comes once in a great while there. So if you're going to make, like, we got people making 40 grand, 50 grand sometimes on a monthly basis, you need to figure out ahead of time, what are you going to do when you get that money? And then plan for it. Get your money right. There's a reason we have financial checks and background checks and credit report checks. It's because we want you to be able to advise our clients what to do with their finances. And if you can't figure that out, then we're in trouble. So put together a plan ahead of time. Are you going to invest it? You're going to put it in mutual funds? Are you going to put it in, you're going to buy a business? You're going to buy houses? You're going to do real estate? You're going to buy apartments? You're going to buy single families? Like, what is your plan for your money? What kind of loans are you going to get? If it was you right now, would you get a 15-year? Would you get a 5-year on? Think about these things and get your money right. And then when it comes down to, client's perspective, give it some thought. Hey, if you were them, what would you do if you were in their situation? These are problems that we face on a regular basis. So inject a little bit of yourself in there. Not so much that you're telling clients that their ideas are poor by any means, but I want you to say, if I were them, how would I get myself out of this situation? And then that makes a very powerful sales tool. So credit unions are unique in that they are typically regional. There's some very large credit unions out there, but a lot of them are just regional credit unions that people go to. Could be based off of work or some kind of geographic restrictions. So it's a sense of loyalty when they go to a credit union. The reason they go to a credit union is because they like that downtown association. They like smaller businesses. They like that boutique shop. That's usually the feeling that you get from somebody who wants to shop at a credit union. Now, I know for a fact, based on a previous employer where I enrolled all kinds of credit unions to use our services. So the thing with the credit unions is they usually want to sell that they are contributing to the local economy. And that's in a very small percentage way, that's true. They are contributing to their local depositors. Everybody shares in the benefits for the fees that they pay to their credit union. But it's pretty small on the grand scale. The amount of money that they will save by going through a non-bank lender is very significant. Our rates and fees are pretty aggressive compared to a lot of credit unions. And so you can tell them, listen, the credit union, I understand, I get it that you want to contribute to your local economy. But the reality is that credit union is not going to retain those funds. Those funds are not going to be circulated to lend out to somebody else. Like, you're actually borrowing money. That's not how this works. And the credit union doesn't have unlimited funds to lend out. I mean, you've got, what, 6 grand on deposit at the credit union? They don't have enough money to lend every one of their people $280,000. So if you deposited 60, but you borrow 280, and if everybody's doing that, the math doesn't work out. They sell those loans on the back end to places like us. And so even though you might have originated your loan with Joe Schmo down at the credit union, you're really going to end up paying us and our servicing division in Oklahoma City. And that's not regional to you anyway. So how about this? How about we just cut through the riffraff, I save you a couple $1,000s, you go with us in the first place, and you spend that $1,000 where it actually is going to get felt in the local economy. I'm talking about local restaurants right now. Order some takeout. Those folks need help. If you want to make a difference in your local economy today, order some takeout. If you're in Texas, order some margaritas to go. But do what you got to do to help those folks, because those folks at the lower end of the pay scale right now, they are suffering the most. The credit union folks, they probably still got a job, but the restaurant workers, not so much. So if you want to make an impact, spend your money where it's actually going to get felt. I'll close the loan up for you relatively quickly, and it's going to get serviced by somebody like us anyway. So we will just go ahead and give you the flexibility to decide where you want to spend your local dollars. How does that sound? And most people will go along with that ride because it's true. The local credit unions, while they're really good at holding your share accounts or your share draft accounts, the mortgages are not their thing. They don't have professionals in there. They got to outsource that anyway. They're taking an application. They're not licensed. There's a lot of vagaries, a lot of gray area that they just don't know about. They have no idea if that application is going to close. And let me tell you, the way that you structure your 1003s, is in large part responsible for how the loan's going to close or how often it closes. So the licensing, the experience is very valuable. So save our clients some money, get them off the fence, get them to work with you, and they can spend their money at their local restaurants. All right, last but not least, there's been a lot of talk about virtual selling lately in the sales market, the sales, social media stuff. And I got to tell you, like, we already do virtual selling. Like, this is not anything new. They just slapped some fancy name on it, called it, virtual to go along with the Zoom meetings. But a long time ago, they used to call people like us online lenders. And it's not like we actually did an online application. Heck, even Quicken's, push button rocket mortgage thing is not really all 100% online. Like, you fill it out, and if they can't get their cert to hit the first time, and let's face it, half of you can't get your AUS to hit the first time anyway. Think about a client doing that. They can't get it to hit the first time anyway. A person calls and guides them through the rest of the process. That's essentially what we do. We've got some mini online applications, but we just offer that personalized service virtually through the phone, email. We've got our online portal, like electronic signatures. Are you kidding me? We are the virtual salespeople of our time. We just don't call ourselves that because for a long time, virtual or online had sort of a negative connotation to it. Well, guess what? It's coming full circle now, and we are the same that we have always been in our industry. We are the pioneers of virtual selling. So keep knowing what you're doing. We are the virtual salespeople. If you want to drop that in a line and just say, hey, we started the virtual sales techniques. We started this whole thing.